All right. What's up, everybody? I'm Sherry, and I'm coming at you from OP and the Big D. That's Odyssey Pets in Dallas, Texas. We're here today to talk about Can Do Can Month. I created Can Do Can Month to highlight why wet food is so beneficial for your pet's diet. And I've got some sales going on here at Odyssey Pets on select cans. But today we have the opportunity to spend some time with Allie with Weruva, which is one of my favorite can companies. How are you doing today?
I'm excellent. With everything going on, healthy, that's all I can ask for. So, taking it day by day, glad to be working for Weruva and just happy to be here. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. I guess let's get into it. For those who don't know, and honestly, I don't know much about the background of Weruva. Can you enlighten us on what is Weruva? When were they started? What's their deal?
Okay, so we'll start from the beginning. I love to do that. So a lot of people don't know. So we are a family-owned business by David and Stacy Foreman. We are going on 14 years now. So it started back in 2006. And it all started when they were actually still dating in New York City, and they were coming home from a date late night, and they found a little kitten on the side of the street. So they, of course, couldn't just leave it there. They ended up taking it to their no pets allowed apartment, and they started, trying to feed it the best food. So going to all the different pet supermarkets and local stores, trying to find the best wet food for this cat. And in trying to find all of that, the cat or the kitten didn't really like the kitten food, and it didn't really look like food. It was what we would call mystery mush. So the only thing he really liked to eat was like the canned tuna and canned chicken that they would get for themselves at the grocery store. So one thing led to another, and they decided, why not make a pet food fit for human consumption? So that is how they started Weruva. It is named after Webster, Rudy, and Vanessa. They're 3 rescue cats. And, it is hard to pronounce the name sometimes, but it does make it easier when you know that it is named after the 3 little kitties that they rescued. So Webster, Rudy, and Vanessa. And it was started by David and Stacy Foreman, who are still the owners of the company 14 years later. So we're still a family-owned company, very tight-knit company, and I love it.
I love that, because a lot of these companies that are up and coming get bought out by the big guys like Purina or what is it, Smuckers or something. So yeah. So that's awesome that y'all are still family owned. I love that.
Yeah, and David, especially David Foreman, they're very passionate about it, and he engorges himself in learning about anything new coming up or all the different recipes. He's very hands-on. Everything is, obviously going through him. He even, before we got a marketing team, he was the one that drew the little girl on the BFF pouches. So he's very, very hands-on.
Oh, nice. Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little more about the ingredients, because when you open one of these cans, it smells amazing, and it looks like something I would eat,
Yeah, we frequently do eat it in our trainings, but I personally, a lot of us will substitute it for, if you're making buffalo chicken dip, a good one. And it's really good because it's, say, your pollock and chicken, which is pretty much the number one recipe we have, is just boneless, skinless, white breast chicken meat in the gravy. The only thing is it's just bland because we're used to all that salt in our human food. It is high quality. So it is stuff that we would eat, and it's really good. So yeah, our sourcing for, like, say, chicken, we source the chicken from Thailand. Everything is humanely sourced, which is a big component to when it comes to sourcing for us. They are cage-free, climate-controlled, non-GMO diet. They're part of the animal welfare standard. So everything that we source is protected by those guidelines when it's going through transportation and at the end through processing. So we just want to make sure that everything is sustainably sourced and, it's ethically sourced as well, is a big component.
So I want to jump in here and say, we really tout the whole, USA made, all that. Weruva is one of the only ones that I've made the exception on, and it sounds like the how they're treating their chickens and the quality of this meat is better than what we can find here in the US sometimes.
Yeah, and some people get a little bit confused with Thailand, or that just not well versed in Thailand and their practices. I mean, we could have been manufactured in the US. They chose to be manufactured in Thailand because of the strict guidelines that they are held to. We are governed by the BRC, which is the British Retail Consortium, and they are the leading global brand and consumer protection organization. So they have higher standards and regulations over there. So every step of the way, we are held to a higher standard, quite frankly. So, I mean, our facility over in Thailand is recognized by the US FDA. So it is automatically cleared by the US FDA, sorry. And a lot of people don't know that a lot of our food, like fish and sushi, actually is imported from Thailand. So they are considered like the world's kitchen for fish. A lot of stuff comes from Thailand that we eat. So we felt that it is a very good place to be sourcing from, to be manufacturing in. And it's just getting people educated on Thailand itself. So, we are recognized by the US FDA, that facility over there. But we do go through higher standards and regulations because we are governed by the BRC.
And it's a human grade facility, right?
Yes. So we are made side by side with human food. So we are made in a human food facility. So we consider ourselves pet food fit for human consumption. The other thing about our facility, which is great, is when we run, say, a protein like a chicken recipe through a line, if there is going to be, say, that steak frites going next, we actually stop production of the line, and then we have to clean and sanitize that entire line so there's no cross-contamination between the different proteins if it's a strictly one protein recipe, so that to ensure there's no cross-contamination if a dog or a cat is severely allergic to, say, that other protein, which is really nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So it takes more time and it takes more money, but it's something that is important to Weruva. So,
is it true? I heard this a while back. The tuna fish that they use at Subway comes from the same facility.
So that is how we actually got into that plant or that facility. So we are made in that same facility back when the tuna for Subway was manufactured there. Yes. So side by side with human food.
Nice.
Is why we, part of the reason why we went over to Thailand.
Man, I want to go to Thailand so bad.
I know.
It's on my bucket list.
I do too. I would love to visit over there, but obviously with everything going on, it's
not right now.
so yeah.
Time to save up so we can go later.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, we've kind of touched on it, but what sets Weruva apart from like other cans?
So there's a couple things with Weruva to distinguish us from different pet foods. One is a carnivorous focus food. So cats are obligate carnivores. Dogs are carnivores that some dogs can, eat an omnivorous diet. But cats are obligate carnivores. They need meat to survive and thrive. So our foods are focused on high quality proteins and low carbohydrates. Secondly, the proteins that we do use are fit for human consumption. So that picture of the food on the can is what you get inside. They're hand butchered, hand flaked off the bone, only loin pieces of meat. Yes. I mean, we open that can. I have cans all open towards the end of this, just so they know. We use only boneless, skinless white breast chicken, and it actually specifies on the back of the label the chicken breast, because it can get a little bit dicey with AFCO's definition of chicken, which is the clean combination of flesh and skin with or without accompanying bone. So you can get bone in there, but with us, one of our mottos is no bones, no stones. With cats, you don't want to get any stones. You're
calcium.
Right. So we have a better control of no bones in our recipes when we hand flake and hand butcher off the bone. This third one is human food standards. So being in a human food facilities, we're set to a higher standard than if we were in a strictly pet food facility. And being governed by the BRC, the British Retail Consortium, we do have higher standards to uphold to. So that's huge. And then fourth, I would say, is the identifiable ingredients in our recipes. You can actually see what is in the can, where a lot of other cans, we say, are mystery mush. It's brown mystery mush. You have no idea. So like with those classic cans you have there, they're hand butchered off the bone, real pieces of chicken breast or salmon or beef that you can actually identify as real food. Now, we did come up with recently a pate that, it took us a while to come up with a pate we're comfortable with, because it has to be held to, Weruva grade. So with a pate, our pates, we use the same high quality ingredients, but then we just mix them together and blend them with a big immersion blender, just huge immersion blender. So it's in that pate form, because, some cats or even dogs, but mainly cats, are very picky and only would like to eat a pate. So we finally figured out how we could make a pate that is suitable to our quality. So I would say those were main points, but definitely, cats being obligate carnivores, they need those lean pieces of meat and high moisture content. And that is where they will get the moisture content, is those high quality pieces of meat.
So yeah, I do want to talk about moisture is a big deal to me for dogs and cats, because if you're feeding a dry food, your pet is going to be in a constant state of dehydration because they don't drink enough water. So if you don't want to feed a canned food, a good canned food isn't as processed as a dry food. So you can feed this as a full diet. It's not bad for their teeth. I talk about that all the time with people. They're like, "Oh, what about their teeth?" That's like if we ate a pretzel and said, "Oh, my teeth are clean,"
Right.
But anyway, so you can feed this as a full diet, or you could top your dry food with it, or you could do like wet food in the morning, dry at night, whatever you want to do. But I feed this to my Chihuahua because he has pancreatitis, and the Weruva cans have some of the lowest fat content on the market. They're like, this one is 1.3%. So if your pet has had pancreatitis or is prone to it, I highly recommend this line, and he loves it too. So
yeah, so the classic dog line there is very low in fat content, with a couple, the lamb recipes are going to be a little bit higher in fat because they're lamb. But all in all, the classic line, dog line, is very low in fat content, high quality protein. So it is great for dogs with pancreatitis. There is the other line, the Dogs in the Kitchen line, which you do carry, but that is higher in fat content. But it's great for picky dogs because there are some dogs, not mine, quite frankly, but there are some dogs that are picky or are just tired of that dry food and would like a little something on top of it. So you have two different options, but the classic line is, amazing. There really isn't anything like it in the pet food industry.
I joke with customers all the time. Like if the apocalypse happened, which it's kind of close, right? Then the Weruva cans are the first ones I'm going to go to, and I'm going to eat that.
Oh yeah, like I said, the pollock and chicken just being a little bit bland because we're used to high sodium, foods. Put some Tabasco sauce on it, but making the buffalo chicken dip all the time, that would be the first one I go to. So, but yeah, the teeth, I don't know how much time we have. I could go into cat nutrition, why it's very important for cats, especially, to be eating wet food. And, the teeth, the tartar and all that, that's just kind of been debunked several times.
That's old school thought that is irrelevant now.
Right.
But no, cats. I had a guy come in like a day or two ago, and I think his cat had a UTI or something like that. And I said, well, what are you feeding? Are you feeding dry exclusively? And he said, yes. And I said, I highly recommend getting wet food into the diet because, cats are more prone to that type of thing, right?
Right. So I'm extremely embarrassed to say this, but I'm just going to be honest. I have 3 cats. I'm not a crazy cat lady. I'm on the verge.
Yeah, that's not crazy.
3, I feel is okay. One of them, I would say 6-7 months ago, inappropriate urination outside the litter box. I'm like, she's probably just being a cat who's being ornery because she's my ornery cat. So kept going on. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, let me take her to the vet. Come to find out, tons of crystals in her urine, tons and tons. So I'm embarrassed because I was feeding wet food, but not enough because I was still free feeding dry food. So I was like, okay, well, here we go. And obviously they wanted to give me prescription food and everything. I was like, I'm going to try Weruva. I obviously fed Weruva before, but now she is only on wet food. So the vet was like, okay, well, we'll see. And then we'll recheck in, 4 to 8 weeks. I'm like, I guarantee you, when I feed strictly Weruva for 4 to 8 weeks, I'm going to come back and there's going to be nothing. So it was hard because she is addicted to dry food. She is a dry food addict. But we managed to get her into a routine of just wet food. So Weruva, wet food. She's also very picky. So I was trying to figure out which recipe she liked the best. So then the inappropriate urinations, slowly got less and less. And so 8 weeks went by and went back, checked her urine, and the struvite crystals were gone.
Nice.
pH level, fantastic, no red blood cells, clear. And he, he was like, well, what were you doing? I was like, well, I cut out the dry food. It was difficult. And then, fed her strictly Weruva wet food, any kind that she would eat, the classic lines, so many different lines because cats are picky. That's why we have so many different recipes. But, she is free and clear. And so we are on wet food strictly. And it got rid of her crystals, the high quality protein, low carbohydrates. Cats are not to be eating carbohydrates. That's
right.
Just their buildup. And we can go into that if you like. But now that I've shared my embarrassing story, but I'm just saying, like, it's true. It's really bad, when you feed cats high carbohydrate, which is dry food, because the binders, you need the carbohydrates.
Same with dogs. They don't need all the carbs either. I mean, their systems are different than ours. We take carbs and turn them into energy. They take fat and turn it into energy. So,
right.
So and I always say this too, if somebody comes in looking for like a weight control food and they're like looking for low fat, I'm like, no, you're thinking about it all wrong. And I know we just talked about fat content, but that was specifically for pancreatitis.
Right.
One of our good customers, Sue, has a couple comments here. First of all, her pet Yogi loves the Weruva canned food.
Oh, good.
And she asks, if you were feeding 3/4 of a cup of kibble twice a day, how much would I have to feed in wet food only?
So how much does the dog weigh?
Right. Yeah. It's easier for me to base it off how big the pet is.
So
like,
it's usually
my Chihuahua is 8 pounds, and I give him 1/3 of a can per feeding.
Yeah.
That sounds right. Yeah.
The rule of thumb is 1 ounce per pound in a 24-hour period. If you're strictly feeding our wet food, no treats, no dry food, no bones, anything like that. But then you also have to take into an account how old the dog is, how active, what the lifestyle is.
30 pounds.
So just being an average dog, 30 ounces a day. But it depends on activity level, metabolism, everything like that.
If they're a senior dog that doesn't do much, then you might feed less. But just by that rule of thumb, this is a 14-ounce can, so you're probably just going to feed 1 can per feeding.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah,
1 can twice a day. But again, if it's not a very active dog, you can cut it back, and if you give treats to that dog, cut it back again, because with older dogs, you don't want them to get overweight, because then you run into arthritis issues, and the heavier they are, the more pain it is on the joints, stuff like that. So, but rule of thumb is 1 ounce per pound in a 24-hour period.
It's a miniature Aussie, and I don't think it's old. So yeah, definitely at least 1 can per feeding. Now you could mix that. You could do half a can with like half the amount of dry food that you normally do, just to get some moisture and like better nutrition in the bowl.
Right. A lot of people do that. They feed the Weruva cans and then use them as a topper. So take your dry food and cut it in half, and then put a half a can on top of the dry food. That way they get moisture, they get that high quality protein, and they love it. And it's good for them. So
definitely.
Yeah, that's one way to do it as well.
For sure. Okay. I know we don't have many viewers right now, but this will play in replay. But if anybody else has any questions, just post it. Otherwise, if people watching want to find out more about Weruva, your website is weruva.com, right?
Correct. And I actually use it quite a bit for reference. It has a lot of good information about Weruva, about where we're sourced, about different recipes. We have a whole nutritional information where it shows the complete maximums that every recipe has ever tested at. So we have our minimums posted on the back of our cans, but you will find if you're looking for something specific for a specific reason, say kidney issues or crystals or anything like that, I frequently visit that nutrition information page because it is so very helpful. Very helpful.
Nice. Yeah, I know y'all's website is pretty nice. So you have a lot of information on there.
Yes, I got kudos to our marketing team. Of course, we always like to do everything really cute in colors, but it's really nice. Weruva.com. It's a great website to use as a reference. So I would encourage them going there.
Awesome. And if anybody has any questions, for me, I'm here at Odyssey Pets in Dallas, and you can message me through our Facebook page. You can email info@odysseypets.com.
And then let me open the can.
Oh, yeah.
The pollock and chicken real quick.
Yeah, definitely. So y'all can see this food. Yeah.
And then my dog is miraculously going to wake up from her nap because she heard that. And she's like, oh, yeah. Okay. Let me see.
So this is the pollock and chicken, right?
Yes. So this is pollock and chicken. Can you see that?
Yeah. It's like shredded in like a.
Yeah.
Like almost soupy. Yeah.
So it's boneless, skinless, white breast chicken meat, what you would get at the grocery store. And that is what is pictured on the can. So it's what you see is what you get. So I'll just. And
then nice. And they add vitamins and stuff to it too. So it's not just like straight chicken. Yeah.
Right. It's a complete balanced meal for the dog or the cat. So it has the vitamins and minerals for either the dog or the cat, but it is, and now my cat has woken up from her nap because she has smelled this. So she is going to make sure she gets a little niblet, but yes, it's a full balanced meal for either the dog or the cat. So
nice.
Yes.
Nice. All right.
Just chicken breast. So
Becky says her dog Linus, that's his favorite can, the pollock and chicken. So
yeah. It's hard to keep on the shelf because the other thing that's great about the pollock and chicken, if your dog or your cat, but mainly if your dog is having diarrhea issues or, internal digestive issues, the vet will recommend just a bland diet, because dogs eat whatever outside. So this is just great because it comes with the vitamins and minerals. It's a full balanced meal, but it's very bland, just boneless, skinless, white breast chicken meat. And then you can pair it with our pumpkin patch up, which is good for their digestive system. So it's also good for times of emergencies too, when they're having issues. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Oh, there's your kitty.
I knew this was going to happen. So
that's so cute though. I love it.
Dogs and cats love it. So what can I say?
It's perfect. All right. Well, if nobody has any questions, then yeah, you can contact Odyssey Pets through our Facebook page, which is Odyssey Pets, our website, odysseypets.com, or email. And yesterday, I figured this one out. If you want to sign up for our newsletter, which we only send something out like twice a month, you can text OP Big D to 22828, and it automatically signs you up for our newsletter.
OP and the Big D.
OP Big D, yeah.
Love it.
So I want to thank you for taking the time to talk with us today. And I want to thank those who are watching or will watch. And we will see y'all next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was great.
All right. Bye, y'all. Y'all be safe.